I was eating a giant hog leg on Saturday. Look at that beast. A friend of mine brought that over. And we ate it. 20 pounds. 20 pounds of roasted pork. It took like 8 hours to slow cook it. Yeah, barbarian streams had to be put off while the hog leg was consumed. I'm still feeling it. And then yesterday I just ate tons and tons and tons of sushi as well. Tons of sushi. So just been eating like too much probably, but that's okay. We need protein. We need protein and power for all the muscle. Yeah, so here we are. Fanucci Watch continues, as Age of Barbarian Chronicles is still yet to be released on Steam, but I'm sure he's working very hard on it. I will wait patiently. Christian Fanucci has surely been engaged in pitiless combat with Steam. No rest, no sleep. So I wait in grim anticipation. But, you know, patience isn't in great supply, so I gotta feed the bloodlust with other tales of sword and sorcery. And that's what we're getting into today. I actually, before the release of Age of Chronicles Barbarian, right after I did my first playthrough of Age of Barbarian, I sent Christian Fanucci fan mail, and I was like, dude, I just played your game. It was so fucking good. It was so good. I loved it. You just really like knocked it out of the park for me. And he emailed me back. So he gave me an email back throughout all of this chaos. And I don't know. I hope he hasn't been getting like just bombarded with people emailing and being like, your game doesn't fucking work, man. It's not released on Steam. When is this coming? What the fuck? Why is it taking so long? I hope he hasn't been getting bombarded with mail like that. But if he has, then I'm glad that there's one or two emails in there from people letting him know that his shit's awesome and that he's got to keep it going. But yeah. We're here to take a short break from Age of Barbarian. I'll definitely be coming back to that so we can play all the DLC and do the fully complete run and the true ending and all of that. That last Age of Barbarian stream that I had was ridiculous. I rushed the ending like crazy, and then we got to the boss, and I was doing pretty shit. I took a bunch of damage at the beginning, and I jumped in my inventory real quickly to heal, just as a firebolt from Necron was about to hit me in the face, and the game went and fucking froze and then hard crashed to the desktop, so that we didn't actually get the true ending the last time I played. It was tragedy, great tragedies. So we still got to do a full run with the DLC and the true ending and all of that, but we're going to get some other things in the meantime. Just for a quick break, a refresher. And I don't have a whole hell of a lot of time today, so we're going to play a game that probably won't take too terribly long to get through. We're going to play Battle Blaze. Battle Blaze on the Super Nintendo. I'm a big fan of Battle Blaze. I know there's some other big fans of Battle Blaze. Blattle Blaze? Still so much to do in Age of Barbarians, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. Blattle Blaze. Yeah, Blattle Blaze is a very good game. I enjoy this game a lot. Battle Blaze was released May 1st, 1992. So that means that it predates Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo by like 1 month. So not like super significant there, but still, that's one of the interesting things about Battle Blaze is that it's a console fighter that was released before Street Fighter 2 really started to hit the home market. So it doesn't really have a lot of the Street Fighter 2 conventions in it, which makes it interesting. And of course, the Ultimate Barbarian theme, I really gotta enjoy that. It was released by ICOM and Electronics Application Company Limited. Have you guys ever heard of Electronics Application Company Limited? No? No, well, me neither. They really didn't do too terribly much. They made some ports. They made a shogi game, some Hanafuda, and of course a Mahjong game. You gotta have a Mahjong game in there. I was digging around a little bit more on them, and it does look like they worked on a PS1 Votoms game. We like Votoms. So that's pretty awesome. But ICOM, on the other hand, has a lot of really cool games. ICOM has a Barbarian pedigree, in fact. ICOM has did two other Barbarian games. They did the very cool looking, I've never played it, but very cool looking Legendary Axe on the PC Engine. There's a Barbarian game ICOM did. We got to play Legendary Axe one day. And they also did a very cool game that I have played on stream a few times now, The Lord of King. This was also ICOM. ICOM developed. So ICOM has the Barbarian pedigree to them, for sure. ICOM, or I shouldn't say ICOM, but Battle Blaze also actually has... shares some credits there with Legendary Axe, which is, not surprising, them being both developed by ICOM, but yeah, they share some credits, and one of the composers that worked on Battle Blaze also did work on Legendary Axe and also Fighting Masters, which shows that ICOM has a little bit of history making fighting games as well. Fighting Masters is a fighting game of suspicious quality on on the Sega Genesis. I think I have a front cover for Fighting Masters here too. Yeah, Fighting Masters I think is sort of notoriously bad, but I mean, look at that cover. Could it be that bad if it has such an ultimate cover as that? Maybe we'll have to find out about that as well one day. So I like this game quite a lot. Battle Blaze. I like this one quite a bit. I know some other people like this game quite a lot, but I don't. I typed the name of the game into YouTube the other night, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people have very good things to say about Battle Blaze. I found this YouTube here, this guy going off about it.
Conceived on this game, and it wouldn't matter because enter Dermot Mulroney back there. Sadly, you could put the best cover ever conceived on this game, and it wouldn't matter because it sucks. And
it sucks. This dude was going off about it.
Focused on putting out a better game, but sadly that's just not what happened. And we got stuck with an ancient fighting game that was looking dated nearly 2 years before it was even released here. So if you're looking for an obscure Super NES fighting game to try, you have way better options than Battle Blaze.
Oh my God!
Think you may have somehow missed out on an obscure gem, just go ahead and put it back down, since Battle Blaze is about as old and worn out as an ogre's loincloth.
It's an ogre's loincloth. And there was this one too. There's like at least a half a dozen videos on YouTube of people complaining about Battle Blaze. This one's titled The Worst Fighting Game.
Not much in the way of an interesting origin story to Battle Blaze.
Oh my God!
Since there's nothing interesting about the game itself. Now, that is something I've said about other contenders in the past.
What is with the skeleton on screen?
Really mean it this time. Despite that, I'll still try to make an attempt at it. Sammy didn't have much of a presence in the greater gaming landscape.
What else does he gotta say?
Years later. I mean, how could they not? Just look at this thing. Oh, speaking of how it looks. I mean, yeah, just look at this thing.
It looks cool,
really
right?
Low spec shovelware on the Genesis.
What the
sometimes had
fuck
this
is he
really
talking
grainy,
about?
Desaturated look. Among those, I can't think of any other specific games that present worse than Battle Blaze.
Oh my.
All the "there's only one ending you can get" games I've covered on this show, this ending has to be one of the better examples.
The ending is sweet. At least he recognized, oh, hey, shit, there's a bit of Fighting Masters here.
Obviously not purposefully programming a weird
I want to
trick
look at the
access
Fighting
something
Master
every
footage a
game,
little
or
bit.
At least every game has by default.
I don't want to
It's
see
just
Pit Fighter
really
talked about in
befuddling
the
that
same
Battle Blaze
sentence
is
as Battle
so
Blaze.
damn basic from pretty much every aspect, particularly the mechanics, considering that ICOM's previous
Okay,
game,
there's Fighting Masters.
obviously not Third Strike, at least had more going
I've never
for
played
it, like
Fighting
an
Masters.
insane roster, wall bounces, juggles, and tons of throw moves.
Tons
All
of
that
throw
said,
moves.
though,
I like throw moves.
Honestly, have even less to say about the.
Okay. Oh, hey, shit. I didn't actually see this one. I didn't see this one there the other day when I was looking at Battle Blaze reviews.
Super Prize Fighter!
Maybe this guy's got something nice to say about Battle Blaze. Ah, look at that sweet-ass intro. It's Fowd. The main character, Fowd.
Released in December of '93 by American Sammy, Battle Blaze is your standard one-on-one tournament fighter. You play as Carol. I kid you not, this guy's named Carol.
It's
With the
Fowd,
hulking
not
Conan the
Carol.
Barbarian warrior that was roam the land of Vergzag.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Name Otarch. Yeah, that'll catch on. Has possessed other mighty warriors, and it's up to you to not only save the other fighters, but defeat the demon.
Does he have anything good to say about it?
With no way to use the boss demon, and you fight in the Coliseum over and over again, so no choice of
The
stage means you
Coliseum's
can't be careful.
awesome.
For the time, EGM number
Oh, he's got an
51 was the
EGM
only
review
one I
here
could
at the
find
end.
Review. Gee, I wonder why. They gave the game a low score of 5, saying the game needed better controls and more fighters. And the music wasn't that great. I can kind of, agree with their review a little bit.
The music is so good. At least the EGM was
Battle
like
Blaze is an
not
incredibly
that
bland
bad, I
generic
guess.
tournament fighter. I think
Wait,
the
was that
controls
out of 20?
Ooh, agree with their review a little bit.
5 out of 20.
Agree with their review a little bit.
5 out of
Ooh.
20. No. No. Oh man. Yeah, no, Battle Blaze is a cool ass game. Like I said, it's a pre-Street Fighter game. You can't judge it pre-Street Fighter 2. That's not necessarily true. I mean, Street Fighter 2 came out in arcades in like 1991. So we are living in a post-Street Fighter 2 world. But this is before we see games of that kind of fighting quality get onto console market at all. So even though this game only predated Street Fighter 2's release on the Super Nintendo by 1 month, I think it's still somewhat significant. This game, it doesn't have any quarter circle fireballs, projectile attacks like that. There's no press up to jump. You press a button to jump instead. It's a 2-button game. What are you really trying to expect here? But I think it does bring a level of depth for sure, for only being a 2-button game. The movesets are nearly universal, which restricts like the ceiling of skill, but definitely lowers the floor to entry. So pretty much anybody can just grab a controller and start playing Battle Blaze. There's no combos or anything like that. There's definitely some issues with the way the game plays, and we'll get into that when we're playing the game. You can just kind of throw loop really easily in this game, and in some ways it's kind of essential if you want to try to beat it on 1 credit, which is what we'll try to do. And people were going off about like a small roster, and I'm trying to think of how big Street Fighter 2's roster was in the beginning. It was like 8. 8 people, I think, maybe. This is 6. And yeah, 2 of them are identical. Fowd and his brother. Oh, what's his brother's name? I can never remember the brother's name. Both of them are they're like palette swaps. Use the exact same moves. But still, I think there's a lot of cool things to offer. A bunch of the other characters are really unique and interesting in this game. And one of the other things people were going off about was like the stock standard story. Oh my god, that fucking pisses me off. Yeah, the stock standard story of the land of Verg being controlled by multiple Blades masters, and a tournament being held to like decide who's going to be the next kings of the country and shit, and an evil demon rising up to possess the warriors that are about to take place in the tournament, so that he then can, you know, be a shadow government controlling the land of Verg through his like possessions of these other lords. And then the main character's dad about to be possessed by the fucking phantoms, and him like being such a badass warrior, he fights off the phantom and kills himself before it possesses him. And then Fowd, his son, like witnessing the tragedy happening and taking up his father's sword to enter into the tournament and take revenge against the fucking demon who's trying to control the whole land of Verg. Yeah, the stock standard story, right? The fucking stock standard story of Battle Blaze. Very bland and generic. Holy shit. Crush the intrigue of Gilformorth. Yeah, no, for sure. The story is the best part, and the way that they blend the story in the game with the versus section as well. How the versus section is like part of the story. You play the versus going into the story mode, and it just gives you this big... I'm not trying to set this up like the greatest game ever or anything like that, but holy shit, it is not what other people make it out to be. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. So, of course, we've got a cool manual. Let's take a look at the manual here. I really tried to track down a Japanese manual, but I could not find the Japanese manual anywhere. I'll have to just, I don't know, like scan my own or something. But I did find the US manual. The US version of the game cuts out some content. It kind of makes the story a little bit more basic, and changes one character's outfit a little bit. So there'll probably be some inconsistencies in this manual, but we'll take a look at it here real quickly. There'll definitely be some character lore that might not be wholly accurate. We can see the North American box art here. There's the North American box art. Looks exactly like this. Compare that to the Japanese box art. I mean, I think it all sort of speaks for itself. We get a lot more storyline. We get a lot more storyline in this art. That's for sure. We can see multiple characters there. We can see Fowd, the main character, fighting the demon Gilformoth there on the front. And then here we get the oddly proportioned Fowd, or Carol as he's called in this version. And then we get the ogre dude. I can't remember his name. What I do like about this picture, though, is that it is still in keeping of the lore of the game, right? Like in the background, you can see the versus arena that you fight in. I've never played this game versus, but I actually think that it would handle pretty well for just some fun rounds. Like, of course, you're not going to take it too seriously. Like, you can't have super competitive rounds of Battle Blaze, probably, but I do think that it would probably work pretty well versus. The simplicity might be good for it. Verg, which sits in the middle of the great world, has remained a tranquil land for many centuries. Here all beings live in peace under the secure hold of powerful warrior kings. These kings are chosen in a contest of champions in which warriors from about the land come to compete. But something is about to disturb the harmony of Verg. Another worlder by the name of Altark. Yeah, I don't know why they changed all the names. The names are actually quite good in the Japanese version. Gilformoth is the true name of Artok. Has sent forth spirits to possess the high warriors of the land. With the best warriors of Verg under the command of Artok, the Tournament of Champions and the fate of Verg are in dire jeopardy. There we get to see the cool map screen. This is a fighting game with a map screen. Mac, what's happening? And we got all of the buttons and everything like that here. Like I said, the movesets are generally universal. Once you learn things with one character, you kind of learn it for everyone. We have the main character, Faud, aka Carol, age 24, 5'11", 210 pounds. He's not a super impressive barbarian, but he'll do. His home is Cricket Beach. The noblest fighter in all of Verg. Using only a sword and his agility, Carol must defeat his opponents, as well as the evil lord Autark. Carol is the noblest competitor. Averagely impressive barbarian. Yeah, still impressive for regular folk, but maybe not so much for a barbarian. We have Schnauzer. Schnauzer is a cool name for a dog dude. He's 3 years old. Dog years. 6'2", 210 pounds. That's the sweet spot for Battle Blaze. Mountains of Artek is his home. Leader of the pack, the Mountain Man beasts. Schnauzer is one of the most feared of all competitors. Though he does not have a weapon, his close combat skills are unmatched. Schnauzer. Then we have Adric. Adric is super cool. He's got a really awesome sprite. He's got this big, dark sword. 25 years, 6'4" and 140 pounds. This guy's rail thin. He comes from Naxos, not having the advantage of strength. Our Adric relies on his heavy dark blade. The length and sheer weight of the magical sword makes him slow but devastating. Our brother Lang, this is Faud's brother Lang. Of course, his name in the Japanese version is going to be different, which is the version we're going to play. It's all in English anyways. And his height, weight, home, all of that is exactly the same as his brother. This nomad is a near split image of his twin brother Carol. These two characters are often tied in combat due to their similar abilities. We've got Lord Gustav. Yeah, that's right. The big ogre dude's name is Gustav. He's only 5'6", but he weighs 300 pounds. He calls Grumor his home. It's Lord Gustav, a half-orc who rules a peaceful farmland. Gustav is one of the strongest competitors to enter the tournament. His use of the mace is as hypnotizing as it is dangerous. There is kind of an interesting thing about Gustav and Schnauzer, and that's that they have a projectile attack, Thunderclaw, and Flying Mace. Neither one of them work in the game. Neither one of them work in the game if you're playing as those characters. If you're fighting against them, they'll pull off the move, but you can't actually use that move yourself. And it's like their signature move. And lastly, we have Tessia. Tessia, the warrior woman, 23 years old, 5'5", 130 pounds. She calls Finn her home. Born in a family of great swordsmen, Tessia was taught the art of twin dagger. Her dexterous physique combined with razor-sharp blades makes her a swift competitor. That's the instruction manual. This is Battle Blaze. Let's play the game. Let's play. Ah, yes. Always forgetting to put up all this extra shit. The timer. The face. I should, maybe I should retire the Zhang Fei face. I always forget to put it up. Let's get the emulator going here. Rah! Takes a minute for this stuff to wake up on my old archaic computer. And we can load the most recent game because it was Battle Blaze. The most recent game I played was Battle Blaze. Here we go. Oh, man. Yeah. Look at this. And the music. Listen to that song. The music in this game really portrays that melancholy feeling. But then the resolve to continue. And this particular theme is quite prevalent throughout the game. I think it's a very good theme, especially when you consider the journey of Faud. And that he's trying to not even take revenge for his father's death. That's only part of it. He wants to stop the demon Gilformoth and save the land of Verg. And we get this ridiculous lore. So, actually, hold on. I want to restart this. I gotta restart this because this lore is fucking insane. And we've got to stay ahead of it. You only get like half this amount of lore in the US version. Necklamps, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, Nettrex, what's my favorite barbarian game of them all? I don't know, there's still so many to play. There's still so many to play. I have to play many more barbarian games before I can make that kind of a decision. Hello, Necklamps. Hello. Welcome in. We're about to play Battle Blaze, a very cool Super Nintendo fighting game. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Long time ago, there was a country Verg somewhere in this world in the time when the power was still ruling the world. The royal house Roselle has ruled this country, and now it is the region of the King Zanu. The kingdom of Verg is constructed with 5 arenas, 5 areas. 3 human races live in Alum Nastas and Lafunda, and 2 subhuman races live in the remote regions, Crowmore and Lagosan. Since Verg was almost secured as a country, the royal house of Roselle started ruling the... Okay, we gotta jump to the next paragraph. They are called Blade Masters, and they were getting to be required not only to the skill of fight, but also their spiritual side as the leader of the race in the area. The ideal and the harmony of the Verg kingdom is to be disturbed one day, however inevitable. Those days in the other world which were ruled by a devil or a power and started divided races in 2. Gilformoth, the king of the devils, Next paragraph. But Gilfermoth was fearful of that, escaped to a remote region of the devil space, created a subspace by utilizing dimensional warp on the border. Gilfermoth could not. One day, ruling the human world, he divided himself into 5 shadows and sent them out into the kingdom. His 5 shadows flew to each area of the kingdom and started to enter the Blade Master's bodies in an instant. Look, it's Foud's father with his sword sticking out of him. Ledman, the master of Alum, read Gilfermoth's idea by his superior power, the spiritual sympathy in the moment when he's... he kills himself. Led's son, Foud, ran up to him, who was held by his son's arms. He told Foud about Gilfermoth's existence, and he died quietly in his arms. Anyhow, they were... Foud looked up at the sky, shrouded in dark clouds, and as if his future enemy, a vicious figure of Gilfermoth, was reflected in his eyes, and he kept looking only at one point. Gilfermoth. There he is, laughing at us. That's the story. That's the story of Battle Blaze. Let's play. We're going to start with the versus mode. We're going to start with the versus mode because the versus mode kind of sets the whole story mode up. So, of course, we're going to be playing Foud so we can get the full story. And this is his brother. I can't remember what his name is, but I like to finish with the brother. You know, it's like you're going through the tournament. This is pre-possession. This is a pre-possession tournament. And we're going through the tournament, and then we end with the brother to decide who will take vengeance. And it shall be Foud. Alright, let's start with Gustav. I'm gonna fight Gustav. First game! You get this cool guard leader coming out telling you, like announcing the match. Both of you play fair. And the king and the queen. The king and the queen sitting up there. Alright, so there are some moves. A few moves we can pull off here. I'm gonna concentrate on that before we actually, like, start fighting for real. Let me get away here for a second. So forward attack. We can do that cool thing. Jump and up. We do this. Sort of spin kick. And then jumping down. Jumping down is a good one. If he let if he'll let me. Hey. Oh, just getting our asses kicked by Gustav. There we go. Get a little bit of space. We can do a spin kick, a downward spin kick, where that's down and jump at the same time. Not down and attack, down and jump. That is a little bit weird. So down and jump, we do the sweep kick. Up and attack, we do the spin kick. Jump down attack, we do this cool kind of downward slice. There's of course your regular slash, and then yeah, double forward and attack. I'm pretty sure that that's it. But the real move of the game is definitely the grab. It's been a while since I played, but if you get the timing right... See, he just got me there. If you get the timing right, you can just cycle the grab over and over and over again. But the fights can actually be pretty tough, so... While you can cheese your way through the game doing that, it's actually kind of... I don't want to say necessary. It's not necessary, but... Definitely if you're trying to claw your way through the whole game, especially just on one credit. you're gonna have to be doing the grab a lot. What's also interesting is that most of the moves in this game will either push the enemy back or just knock him right on his ass. So I think that's another reason why combos aren't really like a thing in this game. Oh, Gustav trying to make a comeback. Gustav trying to make a comeback. Just went berserk. Fouled wins. I'm a big fan of the animations in this game as well. First game, the winner is Fouled. Yo, Son Goku, what's happening? Welcome, welcome. Playing some Battle Blaze this fine morning. Next, not Schnauzer, it's Shazzer. We fight the Beast Lord Shazzer. Second game, Foud and Shazzer. Both of you play fair. I don't think we're gonna get the 1 credit clear on the first playthrough. Left empty, what's happening? Ayah! It's such a cool grapple too. Like, look at these animations. They're not too bad. They're not too bad. The one that Shazzer just did on me, where he like charges up an electrical hand. And then just kaboom! You see? You can play the game like this. Shattered my ankle. But even at that, it does take a little bit of skill. A very small amount, mind you, but it takes a little bit of skill to really get the grab cycle going. You noticed that Gustav was a little tricky to get your hands on. I think the toughest fight is the one against yourself, the one against your brother. Pretty sure that's the toughest fight. Look at that! He turned into a little dog. There's not many video games, or not many fighting games that have transformation moves like that. Oh, Shazzer. This game is way funner, though, if you mix in different attacks. And I actually find that sweep kick sets them up for the grab really well. Darkstalker's a game that I never really spent much time with. Honestly, I was never really much of a fighting game. I wasn't like a fighting game kid, really. I spent my quarters in the arcade on, like, Rastan and, we'll go, Philia! What was her name in the English version? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Her name is Philia. Third game. Foud versus Philia. Zombie Raid. I remember playing Zombie Raid a bunch in the arcade. Philia. So Philia is actually some cut content as well in the US version. They gave her pants. I've never seen a Rastan 2 cabinet or a Rastan 3 cabinet, but we did have a Rastan 1 cabinet at the arcade I frequented as a kid. Wizard's Castle. Rastan 1. Actually, the games that I spent the most quarters on in the arcade back in the day was definitely beat 'em ups. Because I have an older brother. And you know, growing up, he wasn't that much older than me, so we'd go into the arcades together, and we'd want to play something two-player. It is kind of sad because I'm like barely paying attention, and I'm getting the throws on Philly. I have to focus on Gustav though. Gustav was getting after us. Well, out Chiro, what's up? Prohibited to kids, interesting. Well, you know, arcades were kind of a seedy, dangerous place there in the late 80s, early 90s. The arcade closest to where I lived was, it was in a pool hall called Adams Billiards and Arcade. And they had a bouncer for the arcade. It was this big tall dude with a ponytail. And he stood in front and had to, you know, he didn't really do anything. He just stood there, but they were dark. They were dark places, and people would go to the dark corners and do dark things. Werlick. Yeah, Werlick. Werlick, the Dark Warrior. Werlick can be a little tricky because of the range on his sword. Okay. Like I said, you gotta be careful with Werlick. He does a lot of damage. Yeah, right, Skepticon? And what do you think would have happened if you beat him, right? You had to watch out. Honestly, I can't think of anything like really going down in an arcade when I was a kid, but there was definitely this perception, and I'm sure there was people like, yeah, fucking passing shit off in the corners and stuff like that. Destruction. I'll try to be a bit more fancy in the story mode. Oh man, what if I get the 1 credit on the first fucking attempt? I was prepared to play through the game a few times, because I want to try to get the whole thing the arena and the story mode done on one credit, but I might hit it on first try, and then we won't have any more games to play. Wrangle! That's the name of your brother. Two brothers face against each other in the tournament. Fifth game. Fowd versus Wrangle. Both of you play fair. I will avenge father. No, I will avenge father. Come on, brother. This is the toughest fight of the versus mode for sure. You can kind of trick them though with the I don't know if it's just that when I do the sweep kick that the timing just... Oh shit, screwed up there. That the timing between doing the kick and then the grab is just perfect, and that's why doing the spin kick before the grab like kind of works out. I don't know if it's that or if you sort of psych the computer out. You do the sweep kick and it thinks you're gonna attack low, so then when it stands up, it goes low and then opens you up for the grapple. Takes off the mask. I was your father all along. Actually, it reminds me of the movie The Barbarians. The two barbarian twins. Take a look, you lump of hog piss. The one brother takes off his helmet and he's like, holy shit, bro, it's me. And the other brother's just like, who's me? Shit. Wrangle. Oh no, the revenge of Wrangle. Yeah, the computer will do it too. The computer will do it too. Alright, Wrangle. Time to show you big bro's got the moves. And those moves are throw loop. Oh, man. Not today, brother. Not today. Go back to the lands of our father. I will take care of the demon Gilfermoth. So there we go. That's the end of the versus mode, and you get your own, like you get a little ending as well. Now Fod achieved the Grand Slam. We have achieved the Grand Slam. I think that's just the name of the tournament. Look at the king! Oh, Fod, I saw your ability with my own eyes. It was surely splendid. The King of Verg. The King of Verg is a barbarian. Everybody praise Fod. This man is the best blademan in Verg. Fod's proven himself. And you get this sweet ranking at the end of the game with these cool symbols. Do, 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 do. There you go. Yeah, there's like a bunch of different levels as well. Expert Blade Man, Grandmaster Blade Man, Novice Blade Man. Like there's just all these tons of different rankings, and they give you a different icon each time. I tried really hard for a while to make those icons the sub icons for the channel, but they're too elaborate. They don't show up well. So there we go, Battle Blaze. That was the battle. Now we begin the hero. Do we need a story refresher? We might need a storyline refresher. I quite like the images in the background that play as the story's going. I'm not going to try to read it this time. Not out loud anyways. The swords are clashing. Yeah, man. An ICOM doing legendary axe and Lord of King. The Lord of King. They're definitely a they have barbarian pedigree. Yeah, this is Super Famicom. Oh man, left empty. I was going off at these YouTube videos I found earlier. That were I typed in Battle Blaze into YouTube and came across like at least six different YouTube videos of people talking about how shit this game is and how it looks like trash and the graphics are terrible and the animations are terrible and everything about this game is terrible. They don't know. They don't know. They got no clue. It happens. Somebody makes some funny popular video or something, and next thing you know, everybody's saying Battle Blaze sucks. Just dogpiling on poor Battle Blaze. Yeah, for sure. If I was a kid in 1992, I mean, I was a kid in 1992, but if I was a kid in 1992 who was on the edge of my seat for Street Fighter 2 releasing in June 1992, and I got this in May as an appetizer, I would have loved it. I actually probably would have played this game more than Street Fighter 2. Alright, there's the story. Off to the Legend of Faud. You get the world map. We get to pick who we're gonna fight first. Yeah, it was literally a month before Street Fighter 2. Like, Street Fighter 2, of course, as everyone knows, just absolutely dominated the market and changed the game. Everybody was doing Street Fighter 2 clones afterwards. Well, everybody was doing Street Fighter 2 clones now, because I don't want to make it seem like this didn't release before Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 had already been in arcades for a full year. But it was before the console release, which I think is when Street Fighter 2 really took off. So now all of these warriors have been possessed by Gilframoth, and as was said there in the lore in the intro, this whole area here on the map is the land of Verg, but there's these different provinces, and each province has a governor, and the governors are decided through the Tournament of Champions. So presumably these are the governors of this land. And they have now been possessed. And we're in the tournament now. Or did we do the tournament? And I'm king now. I don't know. I guess it's a little confusing. Faud versus Gustav. Gustav! Get out here! I fought you in the tournament. Gustav comes out of his hut, eyes glowing red with possession. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, alright, 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 alright. Oh, he's so much more powerful than when I fought him in the tournament. What's happened? What's different, Gustav? He has the power of Gilfremoth in him. His villagers in the background. Because this is his land. The village of Growmore. Gustav protects the people here. Fuck. He doesn't even fall for the sweep kick trick. Nope. Berserk. Just go berserk. If I've learned anything, it's when things get tough, you just go berserk. Yeah, Gustav has serious anti-air. It's that big spiked mace of his. Good song on this stage. I like the song. Good barbarian battle music. Yeah, I don't think that if you play Gustav in the versus, I'm pretty sure you can't do that that mace throw. What's with this? What's with this villager? What is this villager doing here beside the midwife? Oh my god. Oh, no! Faud. Defeated. We lost the 1cc. Look at that. That's such a cool continue animation. Alright, at least we know it's not going to be an hour-long stream now. Gustav has a sweet grab too, just chucks you right up in the air. I want to do that cool dash slice. Game is definitely funner if you mix in the other the other attacks and stuff, and don't just try to loop the grapple. Yeah. Do all the moves. Man, you can really get that sweep kick out there quick. Yeah. Oh, damn, Gustav. Gustav. Yeah, the movesets are largely universal, so what works for Gustav generally works for everybody else. Which I actually think is kind of cool. Because pretty much all you gotta do is just focus on Faud, since he's the only person you can play in the story mode. But if you were to play this with a friend multiplayer versus, then anybody can just grab anybody and kind of be on the same level. Look at this! Look at this! He does the Conan pose! And then you get this awesome, this is us exercising the spirit. We're exercising the phantom that was inside Gustav. Goes into our blade. The phantom. So, like, by the end of it, Faud's just got this badass sword that's become magical. It started out as just a regular barbarian blade, but then it gets, like, it possesses the souls of 5 dark phantoms. So surely by then it becomes a magical weapon. Philia! Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, she's censored in the North American version of the game. They gave her pants. Which seems sort of weird. This seems sort of weird, right? Chun-Li didn't have pants. Did Chun-Li have pants? Cool grapple. Very cool grapple with Philia. Oh, I guess that's where where they got away with it. They're like, she doesn't have bare legs. She's wearing pantyhose. Yeah, nothing sexy about pantyhose at all. Yeah. Philia! We'll exorcise the spirit from you, no worries. Foud made sure to smack her upside the head with the flat end of his blade. The flat side. Yeah, I was just wondering that. I wonder if they censored the grapple as well. You get the side boob on the grapple. Shazzer, up in the mountains, the realms of Lugosian. His weapon, the Thunderclaw. Look at this stage. What a cool stage, right? We fight on the mountain tops in the moonlight. And it's got those clouds. I'm pretty sure the clouds... Yeah, the clouds move. So we get a real sense of atmosphere on these levels as well. We get cool levels. Some of the Street Fighter games don't have as cool levels as these. And another great song. This one also, you can really feel the tension. Mikai the Maximum Ninja, welcome in. Welcome. We play Barbarian games. That's what we do. Good skull. Good skull there on the top of the screen. That I think is really like a reference to Barbarian. Palace Soft Barbarian has the skull. I'm always very interested in Japanese games that kind of take on this European aesthetic. That's also a funny thing to think about too, how the whole barbarian thing, the sword and sorcery sort of theme, is quite popular in Europe, especially in like France and Italy. But it's really you know, I certainly consider the whole sword and sorcery genre to be created by Robert E. Howard, and he was an American, so sword and sorcery is kind of was birthed in America, but really fomented in Europe, probably just because they have a stronger historical connection to things like this, but also, and most definitely, in Italy's case, because after Conan the Barbarian came out in 1982 or 1983, whatever it was, there was this big explosion of exploitive filmmaking in Italy for barbarian movies, and you saw it 10 years earlier with westerns as well. The famous, what would later become the famous spaghetti westerns. They were originally just low budget attempts at doing what America was already doing, and what was considered at the time doing it better than anyone else. And Italy was just like, well, we'll just do some like low budget. We'll just do some low budget attempts at this whole Western thing. Get this relatively unknown Clint Eastwood guy out here, and just make a couple of cheap movies, and then that thing all exploded. Very into genre filmmaking, they were, at least for a time. This was made by ICOM. ICOM, and it was developed by two companies, ICOM, and the other one was Aleka. Aleka, also known as Electronics Applications Co. Limited. They only did like 5 games, and I think Battle Blaze was their very first game. And they worked on some King of Fighters port, I think. And also did some like Mahjong, Shogi, Hanafuda stuff. What's really interesting too about Robert E. Howard, first off, world building wasn't like, I don't think, a gigantic thing in definitely Pulp Fiction at the time. So absolutely, like Robert Howard's world building was just next level, especially for his time. But also Howard was really interested in history. A lot. He wrote a lot of historical fiction as well. A lot of people only know him for Conan, but he wrote a bunch of other things. He even has other barbarian characters like Bran McMorn and that's the only one I'm comfortable saying. I think I was about to say Cain, but I don't think Cain is Robert E. Howard. According to the way of your battle, I give you my holy power. Now you've got the holy power of Life of Phoenix. What does that do again? I can't remember. Look at this. The map rips open to show you the castle of Gilfermoth. Now is the time to end your days of battle. Crush the intrigue of Gilfermoth. Crush the intrigue. So what does the Phoenix Life do? I think it gives me an extra... I think it gives me like an extra attempt against the boss. Gilfermoth can be a complete fucking asshole sometimes. But... Oh! Just when I was about to say, I think we caught him sleeping. Yeah, so that's what the Phoenix Life did. It allowed us to get a full recharge there and doesn't use our credit. Of course, Cull, yeah, absolutely. I've never actually read a Cull book, so he always sort of sits in the back of my head a little bit. But yeah, Robert E. Howard was extremely historically referential with the whole Hyborian Age, and the Hyborian Age was supposed to be a prehistoric Earth. Like, before recorded history, that's the way it was supposed to be, the Hyborian Age. And, then continents shifted and water levels changed and all that kind of stuff. Supposedly the Aesir and the Sumerians started to crossbreed and became the first Europeans. The sons of Arius, as they say. Here we go. Yeah, we got it. Gilfermoth dead. So cool. Oh, that's awesome. It's got the perspective of, like, Fowd stabbing into the screen. And there's the sword. I fucking love this end song. The whole end sequence is great. It told the end of long and painful fighting days now. Finally, Faud has killed Gilfermoth. 4 masters will be freed from the vicious shadows rule of Gilfermoth. The country of Verg will be rescued from the dreadful devil's hands. Bap. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Da-da. It's so melancholic yet hopeful. Faud Manan, praise the name forever. This brave young man's name who fought by himself a phenomenal disaster, stroke his country only with his arms and a blade. A phenomenal disaster stroke his country with only his arms and a blade. Faud. It's so good. It's so fucking good, Macaw. It's so good. And then you get this awesome song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Lord Gustav kicks ass. Lord Gustav is awesome. He's definitely becoming the second in command. Bum 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 ba-da-da, bum 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 ba-da-dum. Shazzer. So the game's got great characters, cool movesets, an awesome story. Like, you don't even get the quality story. You don't get the quality story today in fighting games. Story has never really been a thing in fighting games, but funnily enough, it was always the thing that drew me to early Street Fighters anyways, was kind of the Street Fighter lore and everything. Thank you for playing with all our love. With all our love. Even Gilfermoth's love. Battle Blaze. And of course we get to see Faud here at the end, cycling through his moves. we totally... Oh, he's gonna do the Conan thing. Ready for battle. Ready for battle, always. The end. What ranking did we get? Not so good. Expert Blade Man. I think Grandmaster is the highest. I have gotten Grandmaster before. So we actually would have gotten the 1cc had I not died against Lord Gustav at the beginning. Mad. Yeah, very beautiful game. Dark Rift, what's happening? Welcome. I'm gonna run to the bathroom here real quickly, guys. I'll let the intro play through. I'll be right back. What up? I'm back. We've only been streaming it an hour and a half. I got about another 2 hours. I don't know if we can squeeze another 2 hours out of Battle Blaze. Definitely will go for the 1cc attempt though. After the amazing lore scrawl is done. I'm trying to think if I got any other short games like... Yeah, I know the Barbarian games on the SNES, it's really far and few between on there, eh? We got Weapon Lord, we got Battle Blaze. Weapon Lord, Battle Blaze, what's the third one? Legend, of course. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Legend for sure. Dude, gotta play some Legend. That game's tough though. Magic Sword as well, but it's just a port. Definitely the Sega Genesis is home to more Barbarian games. Yeah, Magic Sword is definitely a Barbarian game. Alright. The battle begins. Welcome to the Colosseum. Where's the PS1 Barbarian games? I remember looking into that a while back and I was like, holy shit, is there really like no PS1 Barbarian games? There is the Legend on PS1. Don't really know too terribly much about that, if it was supposed to be a remake or what, or if it's still even considered Barbarian. There's good Lord Gustav! What is with this dude? Well, so I haven't played it, so I don't know if it qualifies or not. But Warriors of Might and Magic is on the PS1, and that game, the guy you play as is pretty barbarian from the looks of it. It's just kind of a little strange because he's got this like mask of possession on his face, but I think maybe Warriors of Might and Magic on PS1 might be a barbarian game. I gotta look into it more. Weapon Lord is definitely not a worse fighting game than this. Weapon Lord is like an amazing fucking fighting game. It's just the barrier to entry on Weapon Lord is extremely high because of how good it is. The amount of moves, combos, and chaining skills together and shit that you can do in that. Oh yeah, Death Trap Dungeon, of course. Yeah, Death Trap Dungeon is actually a really cool game. It's a really fun game. I got that one. I have never beaten it, but that is quite a fun game. There's a lot of cool tongue-in-cheek humor in that. Death Trap Dungeon was it's based on a series of books back in the day called Fighting Fantasy, done by Steve Jackson. I think it was no, it wasn't Steve Jackson. It was, I can't remember his name now. He was like the founder of Games Workshop, the guys that ended up doing like Warhammer and shit. But yeah, Fighting Fantasies were like a series of choose-your-own-adventure novels back in the day that were really cool, and one of them was Death Trap Dungeon. So the video game Death Trap Dungeon is a port of a book. Weapon Lord got a Genesis version and a Super Nintendo version. The Super Nintendo version is generally considered the better version of the game, but it's not like the Mega Drive version's bad or anything. It's just you get a bigger view screen on the Super Nintendo Weapon Lord. I think the Genesis one's at a higher resolution, but that made it so they weren't able to fill the screen or something like that. Ian Livingston, there we go. Thank you. Thanks, Jiggy. What's up? Yeah, Ian Livingston. That guy did a bunch of cool shit. Yeah, Warlock of Fire Top Mountain, hell yeah. That's the trick though, right? There's many games that have barbarians in them, but does that make a barbarian game? Just solely having a barbarian in it? And I think if you do that, it just becomes like way too difficult to specify what a barbarian game is. So I don't think it's just the barbarian character. It's also the barbarian theme, the sword and sorcery theme, which is typically low fantasy with kind of unique creatures in it, and just an overall dark tone. But one of resilience. Resilience is extremely important in a good barbarian tale. Yeah, Black Tiger. Black Tiger qualifies. Shazzer. Shazzer. Yeah, I could probably be doing a better job avoiding the jump kick. I'm just kinda chilling with y'all, having fun, reading chat, chatting, fucking chopping up dudes. Yeah, for sure. Well, Warzard also does a good job of invoking the, even though it's got that crazy Capcom visual style, it still does a really good job of invoking the sword and sorcery theme, I think. It does have a wizard in the game, but, like, if you pick the lion dude, your very first fight is up against a big-ass fucking dinosaur, which is super barbarian. And also a lot of the other bosses that you fight in the game are sort of strange creatures, right? Sort of strange eldritch beings. Not your typical fantasy type creatures. They're always sort of strange and malformed, kind of coming from unknown lands. My issue with the whole Wizards and Warriors Iron Sword thing is that it's got the Fabio cover, but it doesn't, like, the game itself doesn't reflect any of that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got the barbarian Fabio on the front, but then you're this huge ironclad knight in the game, which is still super awesome. I really enjoyed those games when I was a kid, but the last time I tried to play the first one for a little while, like a year ago or something, and I got really frustrated. Ah! Philia. Philia! Makai the Maximum Ninja, thank you very much for the follow. Yes, the Battle Blaze follow animation. Foud wins. Our next opponent, Werelek. Yeah, doesn't the sprite in Wizards and Warriors kind of look like the sword is impossible to use as well? Doesn't he have his, like, sword sort of wilted, like hanging low in his hands, like it's too heavy for the guy himself? He's got too much bloody armor on. He can't hold his sword. Oh boy. Werelek. Cardinal Sin. Yeah. I need to dig into that PS1 library more. When I really like the PS1. It's actually probably my favorite game system. But when it was current, I just played like the good stuff as it was coming out. And I didn't really like dig into the library all that much. Even now, the PS1 games that I have, it's all the kind of shit that you would expect to see in it. There's not really anything all that interesting in there. Your Lufia, or your Lunars and your Final Fantasies and shit like that. Vandal Hearts. Fucking Vandal Hearts, now there's a good game. Especially the first one. Ah! Recruit Werelek in Fire Emblem. Alright, now we fight our brother Wrangle. One that I was always kind of interested in as well, talking about fighting games, was Iron. I think it was called Iron and Blood. That one was on the PS1 as well, right? Iron and Blood. It's like a D&D game or something. I don't know if there's a barbarian in that game, but probably like a knight and your other typical shit. Keep your guard up, brother. Fowd probably tossed Wrangle around all the time as a child, and now Wrangle's having PTSD over it. Again, always with the throws. Fowd. One day you'll get me, Wrangle. I actually kind of like Wrangle better. Like his palette and his portrait, I kind of like better than Fowd. If I could play through the story mode with Wrangle, I probably would. Nice bird thing. Thank you very much for the follow. No, none of that. Oh shit. Our brother is going crazy. Okay, alright. Good job, Wrangle. You did me proud. Yeah, Mace. Oh my god. I don't think the spinning kick actually does that much damage, but... there we go. Another tournament defeated. For our father. Led Manan. Fowd's father. Badass just stabs himself in the gut so he doesn't get possessed by Gilframoth's shadows. We achieved the Grand Slam. And here's the King of Verg. Oh, Fowd, I saw your ability with my own eyes. It was surely splendid. Great king. The very good king. Everybody praise Fowd. This man is the best blade man in Verg. A glorious victory. Well, again, this is the Japanese version of the game. Pretty cool that it's fully in English as well. I'm sure that was just like inscrutable to Japanese people at the time, or maybe they thought it was really cool because it's the Western theme, right? You know, the barbarian thing is all Western, and I don't know, maybe the Japanese person that played Battle Blaze back in the day thought it was really cool that they couldn't understand any of the dialogue. Off to the true adventure. Fowd comes back from the tournament. Notices something a little off about all the contestants, follows them back to their kingdoms, and realizes that they've been possessed by Gilframoth. We'll start again with Master Gustav. He comes from the realms of Growmore, and his weapon is the Morning Star. the village of Growmore. They have barren fields in this land. That's why they called it Growmore. Okay, all right. We need to watch out for Lord Gustav. I keep calling him Gustav. It's Gustav. God. Good gravy. Oh man. Gustav. I'm not gonna let him ruin this run. Dude, what? He's got good anti-air, plus he's got a really good air attack with the way he just, like, has the Morning Star out. Oh, what the fuck? I think that's our anti-air. Is the double forward. I can't pull it off. Okay. Gustav has my number. What happens if I let the continues go up? Do we get an animation of him collapsing? Oh, he just can't get up. Greenhorn. Who you calling a greenhorn? Do, 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 do. Alright, I'm just gonna start from the campaign again. I don't think our score carried over from the tournament, did it? That'd be crazy. Why is he so easy now? Ugh. That's just kind of frustrating. Oh, maybe Gustav still has some juice. Oh. We must use all the moves in our repertoire. Oh! We got him. Kyo, what's happening? Helicol, good to see ya. Easy. Leon Small Business Cult, thank you very much for the follow. The spirit, the evil phantom of Gilfermoth that had possessed Lord Gustav. We absorb it into our blade. Mighty Cat C, what's happening? Do 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 do. Na 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 na. Philia in the realms of Latfuna. She fights with the twin daggers. Look at this background. We got the flowing water in the back. I don't want to hear all that shit talk about Battle Blaze out there. I don't want to hear it. Look at all the water, the cool fucking water like coming out of the aqueduct shit there. This game's awesome. And just a really enjoyable playthrough too. Not something you really got to stress over. You just have fun with this game. And yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get like hundreds and, well, maybe in the long run you'll get hundreds and hundreds of hours out of playing this game, but if you're sitting at home in 1992 and you just got this, yeah, you're probably not gonna sit there and play, you know, 10 hours of Battle Blaze unless you're me. I'll beat the devil out of you. But still, the game has so much to offer, I think. I should get a friend to fight in versus on this, see how the versus plays out. Because I'm kind of convinced that I think the game would actually be pretty fun versus as well. Like, for a little bit anyways. Though, honestly, maybe Foud would be a little cheap. For sure. Just with the length of the sword. But Gustav's mace goes pretty crazy too. And Shazzer and Gustav have the ranged attacks. But as I had mentioned earlier, I don't think you can actually pull those off in the versus mode. Maybe we should check that out after I'm done this run. The Mountains of Lugosin. Ba-da-da-da. 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 Yeah, that jump kick is pretty nasty. Slam dunked me right to the ground. Oh shit. A close battle with Shazzer. It's all to help him, though. Yeah, like, I don't think this game would be super competitive versus or anything, but I definitely think there could be fun to be had with it. Mary Dio, thank you. Thank you for saying so. Thank you for saying so. We watched a few YouTube reviews of this game, if you want to call it that. And all of them just trashed every aspect of the game, including the art. Look at that super cool fucking parallax scrolling sky there. Werlick's gonna be the asshole this time. Oh! Yeah, I think some dude was saying it was worse than Pit Fighter on the Genesis. Werlick. Man. That one move is just devious. Where he flips himself up into the air and then comes down. Can't knock him out of it. He's got the iframes. Sweep the leg. Okay. Off to a bad start there. Holy shit! Oh. Werlick. It was Gustav before, and now Werlick. That was very close. Ashita no Joe. The Ashita no Joe game I want to play is the that one that mixes in like beat 'em up with the fight sequences. Is that the Neo Geo one? Yeah, that one looks really cool. There's a bunch of Ashita no Joe games, but there's that one, and then there's like a Punch Out one on arcade, I think. The Neo Geo one looks pretty sweet. That one's so bad, but it looks so cool though. You'd better go and pray at the Grandao Shrine before your final battle. It looks like it kind of takes you through the tale a little bit. For any who don't know, Ashita no Joe is just like the ultimate boxing anime ever made. And not just that, actually. An interesting thing about Ashita no Joe as well is that it's all like post-war Tokyo shantytown shit, at least in the beginning, which is a very common like aesthetic in Yakuza movies as well. Old Yakuza movies, the good ones, like Battles Without Honor and Humanity. But it's a unique look, and slightly historical. Oh, shit. Oh, man. We just kicked his ass the first run, so hopefully he doesn't go nuts here on me. Yeah, some of the fight nights were pretty good. I don't know, I'd like to dig into boxing games a little bit. At some point in time. I'm sure there's a couple of good arcade-style boxing games. I've always been kind of interested in boxing games because I spent quite a few years boxing myself. Just amateur boxing, but I did a lot of that when I was younger. And, yeah, I've always kind of been curious to go through the range of boxing, the massive range of boxing games out there to see if there was any that really gave off a good feeling. I was watching Goaty play that one on the Genesis a while back. There, we got the 1cc. We didn't do the full versus 1cc into the story 1cc, but we did technical 1 credit clear. Technical 1 credit clear. Mary Leo, thank you very much for the follow, and you can see your follow there on the game screen as well. It told the end of long, painful journeys. 4 masters will be freed from the vicious Shadow's rule, and Gilframoth, the country of Verg, will be rescued from the dread devil's hands, and the people will soon start living in peace and harmony, and everything will be great. But what'll happen to Faud? He's not ready for his crown yet. Surely Faud will take his father's sword, head off into the lands, walking into the unknown horizon, where he will live and slay. Foud Manan praise this name forever. This brave young man's name who fought by himself. A phenomenal disaster stroke his country only with his arms and a blade. Takes his father's sword and stabs it into his chest. Yeah, so I was gonna say, I watched Goaty play, what was it, James Buster Douglas's boxing on Genesis, which has a different name in Japan, of course. That game, I've known about that one for a while, but I've always thought it was kind of interesting looking. I liked the big sprites, of course. Big sprites always make a good game, and or make a game better anyways. And it always looked like there was a little bit of boxing technique. You don't know how good it is until you play it. But visually, it's like some boxing technique is there. You want to lay in your heavy hits, set up your heavy hits with jabs, and it's got body guard and head guard, I believe, and I think you can even do some ducks and a bit of head movement or something. Those are the kind of things that you need when you're really simulating a boxing game, though. You need to have like a combo system and high guard, low guard, and some form of head movement and swaying. I think if you got those things, you can be pretty decent. Just you just don't want it to play like a regular fighting game. That's the biggest thing. It's got to be more strategic. Right? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Jiggy, I agree. A lot of older boxing games suffer for not being video gamey enough to make it fun and interesting for its time, but also not really having the means to be able to simulate boxing properly. So they're trying to do the simulation, but just failing miserably because it's just not fun. I do remember a boxing game from when I was a kid. I think it was like a DOS boxing game. I can't remember the name of it, but you had to do a whole bunch of crazy training and stuff. You had to do a bunch of the training. The training, honestly, like for a good boxing game, especially an old one, I think you could strip out all that. You could strip out all the simulation aspect of it, like the training and the stats and all that kind of shit. You don't need any of that. That's like the worst part of boxing in real life, let me tell you. You could just focus on having good strategic fighting. You don't even need a full ring view. You could even like cut. You could have the view like cut the characters at waist level, and still have the good a good boxing game. I think cut the screen at waist level and just have really big detailed good sprites with like persistent damage, growing damage on the characters. That'd be pretty sweet. Focus on the biting. Yeah, I played Fight Night round 1. Fight Night 1 is not as sophisticated as the future Fight Nights. That kind of started with 2, and then I think died on the 4th one. I don't know, I never played Champion, which is the one after 4th, but I think Champion just does button presses instead of in Fight Night. You have to kind of like rotate your analog sticks in weird ways to throw the punches. So if you want to hook, you have to like rotate the joystick in like a hooking motion. It's it's cool, but it's not probably the best part of the game. But I think Champion did away with that shit completely and just made it way more arcadey with like button presses being jabs and hooks and things, making the gameplay a lot more fast-paced and button mashy as opposed to strategic like it should be. But yeah, Fight Night Round 1, I'm sure had that format where you use the joystick to fight, you use the analog stick to fight. But I do remember that game being way less strategic and kind of focused on simulating a boxing match and a lot more fast-paced and crazy. And you had these nuts walk-ins and stuff, and of course it had all the contemporary music of the time, which was just goddamn awful. But you could do some pretty crazy walkouts. 2, 3, 4, I think, got a bit more realistic. One's pretty nuts. One's got a lot of, like, wacky kind of intros and wacky shit you can put on your characters. Ready to Rumble, yeah, Ready to Rumble is just, like, ridiculous. Well, I don't really think there's anything else to do in this game for me right now, other than just trying to do the full 1cc again, where I go through the verses and then the storyline again. But I'm feeling pretty satisfied with Battle Blaze right now. Let's yeah, I think that's it for Battle Blaze. 420 Battle Blaze it. Maybe after stream. Thank you very much, ICOM and Aleka for making this game. Thank you, Sammy, for producing it. And fuck you, all you YouTubers that hate this shit. You don't know. You just don't know.